So I'm happy to be here and talk a little bit about InterForm. But first I'll do an introduction to myself. My name is Hans Møller Hansen. I work out of Denmark for Columbus. And right now, as Laura in a hotel, I'm actually in Legoland in Denmark, ready for the Danish user conference that starts tomorrow. So I worked with as an output consultant for the last 14 years. Worked with StreamServe, worked with IDM, and the recent 5 years it's been a lot on InterForm. So I'll start by introducing who InterForm is. It's a Danish company. They've been doing output management since '87, so quite a long time. Have more than 4,500 installations worldwide. Work through partners. Columbus is one of many partners. And the only thing InterForm is doing, I'm saying only, it's not meant as a bad thing, but they are all focused around output management. So they know what output management is, they know how to create PDF files, communicate with printers, and they know everything that's worth knowing about generating documents and distributing that. So InterForm is very cooperative with Info. So they actually have a strong partnership that goes back to '99. They share a lot of common install base, many on M3, and a lot of the other Info ERP systems. So and I know they're having weekly meetings with Info. So quite a lot of things going on. Last year, there was also a partnership on the M3 side of the Info setup. So let's just start by saying, why are we talking about output management? Well, we talk about output management, and we should think that we are now in 2026. Everything should be digital, but we still need to somehow have a layout on much of our data. And also we need layouts on labels and other documents. It's not all parts of our business that are digitalized. So output is a business critical process, and we see that it becomes more and more complex. Another thing we see is that it's most often underestimated in projects, and it's always left to the very end of a project. I'm saying always, you might have done it otherwise, but most often we actually see that's what happened. And understanding that output, it's just there and we don't notice it. As long as it's not broken, it just lies there underneath every process that we do. But when it breaks, it's really a big issue many places. So when I started 14 years ago, we were all happy. All printouts were done actually to a physical printer, and we had a mailman. But over the time, it becomes more and more complex. So instead of just doing a printout, we also need to do emails, we need to do PDFs, archiving, printing, RFID, e-invoicing, a lot of different ways of actually producing our output. So it's not just a printout anymore, it is a lot of different things. Also, we used to have just one or two applications, but now we actually utilize output management in many parts. It also becomes more and more complex on what kind of data we need to handle. So we're going from on-prem to cloud. It changes the whole way of seeing what output management is and what to do with this. It also requires us to have other ways of the infrastructure. So really just increased complexity. That's what it's all about. So The way we used to see things, M3 on-prem, it came with StreamServe as an OEM license. So M3 was printing stream files to StreamServe. Now we're in cloud. M3 prints to IDM. Our VMS system might have another output system, CPQ, other ERP systems. They might all be shipped with their own output management system. That means that you would have to it's always a different way of handling how output is produced, and where do we actually go to do changes, and you might have to train people in multiple systems. So it's all about application focused setup. What we is, because we don't want InterForm to just service M3. We want InterForm to service the whole business, regardless if it's your VMS system, if it's your ERP, if it's out. We can actually handle that. And we can do that because we have multiple incoming channels, because we support XML, TXT files, JSON, you name it, of incoming data. So see InterForm as a common platform for everything you want to do, where you want a layout and a distribution of your structured data. So really shifting from ERP-centric silos into an enterprise output platform, cross systems, business-wide coverage, and where you have a unified governance, only one place to go for outputs. I prepared some examples from a Danish customer called PlusPack. They are doing food packaging for that is retailers, food services, and a lot of industries across Europe and also in the US. So, and it's quite an older company. They actually have more than 110 years, and it's fourth generation family owned business. They do aluminium containers, plastic trays, a lot of things for all the things I mentioned before. And one of is their circular packaging. Everything needs to be recycled. They also customize and tailor solutions specifically for the customers in when that's needed. But of course, they have a lot of standard products as well. Headquarters in Denmark. So PlusPack is an on-prem customer today. PIM systems, it's called Struct. They're using something called Merit Portal, where they utilize a lot of the printouts, especially on labels. And when we started talking about InterForm, it started out as a request for technical data sheets, and later they came with a declaration of compliance documents. They also had some plans of going cloud, and they just started their cloud journey. I'll get back to that. But also after installing InterForm in their environment, they found out they also needed some support on supply invoices, and that's actually the three business cases I'm gonna go through now about what they call technical data sheets. You can go to their web page, and you can actually see all their products there. And for each product, it's possible to download a data sheet or a document of declaration. And if you do that, you'll get what you see on the right side. You'll get this quite technical sheet based on the shape of the product. If it's round, if it's a square, it also changes based on the material. If it's plastic, it's other data than in this case. And then all the images, they are actually stored in SharePoint. I'm gonna get back to that part. So the other use case is called declarations of compliance. And this is for this market when they sell all these products, plastic, aluminium, they have different compliance declarations depending on the materials. And they actually had 93 different templates. 93 different templates. And Word or PDF templates, and they had to go declaration of compliance, find out which one do we need, and then the dynamic part is actually the item number, product group, and item name. So they had to go and add that manually and then send by email to the customer. So what we did was we did a conversion of these 93 templates into InterForm. Conversion tools, migration tools that can take a PDF file and convert that into InterForm. And then we just had to map that one line with the item number and product groups and make sure that was dynamic with some data. So the flow we were doing, we had the data in M3. We had some of the data in that struct. Or they actually push that data to the data warehouse. And then we have a scheduled job orchestrated in InterForm. And that job is every night it's going to do a query into the data warehouse where we have all the data. So we do a query for each item, and then we get all the data and InterForm document flow. Next step, all the images, they are stored in SharePoint. We do an API call to SharePoint to pull the relevant data for each item that we are going to create these declarations and these technical data sheets. And then we create the layout in InterForm based on rules, on shape, on material, that kind of things. And then we push it, do the distribution from InterForm, push the PDF file to IDM, so you can actually see the data in M3. But we also push the PDF file back to SharePoint, because SharePoint is integrated with the website. And that means that every single product is published with new data, if data changes, of course, but it's published to their website every night. Next morning, you'll get the latest with the newest data, with the newest pictures from SharePoint. So the marketing department at PlusPack, when they change a product image or thing, they just do that in SharePoint, and it's automatically published with the data sheet on the website the next day. So that's a use case where we actually have both M3 data in SharePoint, connect everything using InterForm. The next use case is about accounts payable. All the accounts payable integrations and stuff is handled by a company called Rillion, a system called Rillion. The integration between M3 and Rillion, I don't have it. That's handled by MEC, and it's something happening. But the problem is that when Rillion is handling the AP, the PDF file, the supplier invoice, it's stored in their system. So it's not visible inside M3. It's not visible in Info IDM. So they ask, can we do something? Yeah, of course we can do that, because we can use InterForm to integrate systems. All I need is a trigger in InterForm, and then of course I can look into the Rillion web service and see if there's anything, if there's a PDF file there. So the flow looks like this. When Rillion has handled all the file, it's a CSV file. They drop that file on an SFTP server. And on each of these, I have information about suppliers. I have the invoice number and that kind of things. So InterForm is listening to that SFTP server. And when things turns up there, I'll take that CSV file, I'll convert it into an XML file, I'll do a split, and then I'll call Rillion Web. A big file, it's an XML file, it's originally a JSON, it doesn't matter, but it comes back. And in that one, you see we have data. It's a big blob of text, but it's actually a base64 encoded PDF file. So InterForm decodes that one, meaning I now have a PDF file. And that PDF file is then sent to Info IDM to be archived. And now all AP supplier invoices are visible in the right programs in M3. Then we come to M3. And as I said, they're preparing for cloud. And one of the things, they had to shift from stream files to XML files. And to take that out of an upgrade project and to reduce risk, they actually started with this a year ago. We split up documents into different document groups, and then we put an estimate of each group. How long is this going to take? And then we started with finance, doing the migration from stream files to XML out, and also the layout based on InterForm. So, and then we moved on to other groups. After each group, we had an evaluation. How are we doing on things? Do we keep the budget? Do we keep the time plan? Do we need to move things from one scope to another scope? But we are almost there now. I'm not doing the actual work, doing that, but we are almost there now. And now they started their cloud project. Yeah, actually, I wanna share another thing, but I'll just jump to that one, because now they started their cloud project, moving from on-prem to cloud, M3 Cloud Suite. And that means this is the landscape they have today. M3 on-prem, they have the cloud. Yeah, Rillion, that is in cloud, using that SFTP file, CSV files. They have the PIM systems. They have the data warehouse. They got the cloud tenant, so we that one. And when they migrated data, printouts were actually done in InterForm right away from the cloud environment, because we have connectors, because we have the same documents. So right now, this is the landscape. We have the on-prem, the production environment, M3 13.4. We have the future production in the cloud, and it's actually running on the same platform with the same templates, both on-prem and cloud. And when they go live, I can't remember their planned go live date, we're going to turn off the whole data warehouse integration. All that continues as before. If I jump back to this one that I skipped before, it's just to say another big issue we had at this customer, or big challenge, is actually label prints. They're doing thousands and thousands of labels. And you see an image, it's actually one of their printers, and they have this roll-up machine that is rolling everything up. So most often they do 2,000 printouts. But some of the complexity we had to handle in this was to print everything. We need to have a sequence number, but we need to print in reverse order. We need to make sure that when it rolls up, that we have the right, the highest number on the inside of the roll. We also need to make sure that orientation was correct, because when you take this roll of labels and put it in production, the machine that puts it on the boxes needs to make sure it's not put upside down. So quite a complex things, all handled because we're talking with the printer in CPL language. So that saves quite a lot of things. So it was a quick introduction to how we used InterForm as a platform at the customer called PlusPack. You're always welcome to contact me, and we could have a one-to-one. Thank you so much.